Hey guys, guess what I just ran across?
What?
Well, I didn't run across it. My wife brought it home from her grandmother's house. It's a Trailer Life magazine from 1979, December 1979.
Ooh. Wow. It is.
They had trailers in 1979?
Yeah, they did. Can you believe that?
I'm trying to hold it up to the camera for anyone who might be watching on YouTube, but it won't focus because we have facial detection on, so never mind.
That facial detection was not available in 1979, by the way.
How did y'all recognize each other without facial detection?
I don't know. How did you sort your digital photos? All right.
So she brought this home, and I looked through it and was like, this is like, it's a time capsule in a way. It's kind of nostalgia. And in some ways, after reading through some of the articles, it shows that we're still trying to solve some of the same problems.
Yeah,
sometimes with the same
yes
solutions.
I love the way some of it just sounded so avant-garde at the time. And we're like, yeah. And then some of it, you're like, really? They worried about that?
Yeah.
That was a thing? So I'm excited that today we're going to kind of compare what we see in Trailer Life as 1979 and maybe does it make you go, what? Or, same as today, because we found both.
Right. Well, let's get the scene kicked off with our intro, in which case, Lindsay, last time you did a fantastic job.
That's a lie, but do you want me to do it again?
It is a lie, and I think you deserve a second chance.
Okay.
Go for it.
Welcome to the RV Small Talk podcast, where we talk about lightweight trailers, truck campers, and the people, places, and adventures that go along with them. We are your hosts from Princess Craft RV.
I'm Clint.
I'm PJ.
And I think old magazines smell so good.
Oh, that's so true.
They smell like Grandma's attic, don't they? Isn't that what you find in Grandma's attic, old newspapers?
I was never in Grandma's attic.
Ooh.
Now,
Grandma didn't have an attic.
And in
Your grandma didn't, that's for sure.
Our neck of the woods, Grandma also didn't have a basement.
Nope.
So
okay,
she just sent me out to the field.
It's over yonder. I don't know what that means, but it's not here. If you
didn't know what yonder meant, you had to go to over thar.
Thar. That sounds far.
Exactly why. It's precisely. I mean, you already speak the language.
I do. It's like I'm from Texas or something.
All right. Well, very good. Very good. Before we jump into much deeper this, don't forget the show notes will be at rvsmalltalk.com, social media, or anywhere else, even YouTube. You can find us if you just look up RV Small Talk Podcast. We also have Tiny Trailer Rally coming up. Look that up at Texas, tinytrailerrally.com. We'll give you more details at the end. Let's set the scene as we jump into the year 1975.
You know who was considered one of the sexiest men in 1979?
David Hasselhoff.
No, but that is a very good guess.
Hey.
No, I'm looking. Hollywood hunks.
Donny Osmond.
Don Lemon.
No, just... I don't know. We crack ourselves up. Greg Allman.
Oh.
Of the Allman Brothers?
I know. That's what I said, too.
Of the Allman Brothers?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
You have to finish the sentence. Greg Allman of the Allman Brothers. You can't just...
Well, is there another Greg Allman that you know of?
Yeah, but it's like part of it.
Isn't Greg Allman who Cher married?
What?
I thought she was married to Sonny.
Well,
Who was also incredibly unsexy.
Okay. No, she married Greg Allman for a short period of time.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
And he was sexiest man of the year?
He was like listed in the Hollywood hunks and sex symbols.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, right along with Burt Reynolds.
You see, that's the name.
Burt Reynolds, I can buy.
I was guessing Burt Reynolds, but I couldn't think of his name.
I was guessing it in my head.
I was going to say Smokey and the Bandit, and I was like, that guy.
Yes. And the hottest women were Brooke Shields, Bo Derek.
Okay.
Bo Derek?
Who's Bo Derek?
Farrah Fawcett.
Splash, the old Splash movie.
Oh my gosh, I love Splash. Her hair was amazing, though. She always had the best hair.
Yeah, I think so.
No, she was the one on that movie that had the swimsuit on and she was running down the beach.
Baywatch?
No.
Like,
we don't know enough about this. I am so sorry. But we all know who Farrah Fawcett is, right?
Yes.
So she was a 1979 icon.
Okay.
Lonnie Anderson, Donna Summer, Brooke Shields, The Blue Lagoon, right?
Yeah.
That was probably the 70s.
yeah, we get it. Women are
right.
hot.
So what else? Well, it was a time.
Yeah, that was the time.
What movies do you think came out in 1979? Yeah, I wonder who out there that's listening was even here in
I was going to say
1979.
the only reason I will
Muppets-
know anything is because sometimes
You weren't here.
I wasn't here. Yeah, so I would have read it or watched a video on old, music. And
The first Muppets
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
really in 79?
That's true.
Really?
The Muppet movie came out in 1979.
Oh my God, I'm not even
Yes.
kidding. That was a total guess.
I heard
Along with Alien.
that my sister was born in 1979.
It's probably true.
Yeah,
Do you know what the minimum wage was in 1979?
$2.47.
No, but you're close.
Really?
Yeah.
How close?
$2.90 an hour.
Wow.
I worked for a company called Holubar. And
Holubar?
it was in
Holubar.
Holubar. It was right next to this little company in a metal shack called Celestial Seasonings. It was in Boulder, Colorado. Yeah, they wouldn't hire me, but Holubar did. And I was hired as a seamstress, and I had to make 90 trail jackets. Now, if you don't know what a trail jacket is, it was very popular at the time with all these quiltings across and down-filled, and it had 18 Velcro pockets inside
This
and
sounds
out.
like
I had to make 9 a day to get paid $2.90 an hour.
this sounds a whole lot like what you would think of someone running through the mountains of Colorado in.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it fits
Well,
as long as you sewed it right.
and they call them all, which I don't know.
Hey,
But
your jokes need so much setup.
okay, but can't you just see somebody taking a jog with their Sony Walkman?
Yeah, but Sony Walkman was a thing when I became a thing.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it was
well,
around.
But
it
it
was
started in
That's
79?
in 1979. It was introduced, and it was so cool because it was big, and you could like carry it with you when you went jogging,
Okay.
or put
Was
it
it,
in your
and it was
pocket.
cassette or an 8-track? Was it a phonograph?
carry around a record player.
It works better if you
Okay,
spin
it
in
wasn't
circles
that
in this
old.
direction.
Needle keeps skipping.
Okay,
What else?
moving on.
What
But
else?
it was just to think about that. I mean,
More 1979 stuff. So we really get into the thought, the
hey,
scene.
this little kid, this little kid who was part of this brother band. You know, there's a whole bunch of family bands. He had his first big grown-up record.
Ow.
Michael Jackson
Oh.
put out his first grown-up album
heard of
called
him.
Off the Wall. But same year, Pink Floyd put out his record,
Pink Floyd isn't he?
The Wall,
Okay.
both in 1979.
All right.
Yeah.
It was a year of walls.
It was a year of walls.
Wait, when did the Berlin Wall come down?
In 80 something.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
It was still up at this point. Hey, you know what else was then? This cool new game, and everybody would get together and play it. And it was called Trivial Pursuit.
Does anyone still play Trivial
I'm not
Pursuit?
sure that I feel like that factoid's kind of trivial.
Yeah. Dad jokes.
You still
just
have
that-
blood on your hand.
Well,
Now,
Memories
Lindsay,
are-
what does that have to do with Trivial Pursuit? Is that trivia for the day?
yeah, if someone listening's like, oh, what? Clint has blood on his hands? What? This is suddenly a true crime podcast.
There's no mystery here.
I got cut
Our trophies came tumbling down
from the
and
wall.
sliced your hand. There you go. Another wall joke.
Okay.
Okay, what else? Set the scene. I mean, just quickly, you highlighted so many things from 1979. Just kind of toss them at us so we can be in awe.
I don't know. It was just a whole different time. Everything went really slowly. I mean, looking back, I'm looking through all the papers here of all the things that happened, and it's just surprising how slow it went.
I don't know. That's a lot of pages.
It was a big thing when Margaret Thatcher got elected.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
She was a woman.
Because she had a vagina.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Hey.
Was she the first?
And then there was this new thing.
No, all women have them.
1979. 1979. Big year for women.
Oh, no.
Well, it was
Okay.
also the year that they decided that they couldn't just name hurricanes after women.
Oh.
That men needed to be included in that too.
So tempestuous storms weren't just identified with women?
They were all women's names until 79.
We should work on taking that back.
Isn't that crazy?
Just saying.
Walk that back.
We should.
Yeah. And then this new cordless vacuum came out and everybody had to have one.
Dustbuster?
Yes.
Dirt Devil?
No,
A
Dustbuster.
dustbuster.
But
It's kind of like Kleenex, it's just the name for that little funky little motor thing.
Yeah.
That worked for about 2 months and then broke and you had to buy another one. You remember that?
That's just called capitalism there.
Yeah, it's true.
That's been around way before 1979.
Let's see.
The first one.
Ooh. They're just cracking themselves up here. Okay, here is another interesting fact.
What you got?
The highest rated basketball game ever watched on TV. Still.
To this day. Okay.
Was in 1979.
That seems weird because the growth of the sports entertainment world.
I know, but there's a lot more channels now.
Okay.
And we had 2 super icons. And it was a college game. Hard to imagine. The college game, and it was, let me see, I have to read it. The NCAA championship between Michigan State with Magic Johnson and Indiana State with Larry Bird. I mean, you don't have to know basketball to know.
So Michael Jordan wasn't
those
even
names.
in the game?
No, he went to North Carolina, I think.
No, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
Wow.
And the second one.
He was so good, he wasn't even in the game. And he won.
In 1998, there was NBA Finals. That was the second highest game. And that was a professional game. But it was not as many people watching as that college championship. And that's kind of crazy.
Well, here to college sports is more entertaining anyways.
Hey, you know what? You could buy a Super Bowl commercial for $185,000.
Okay, I looked this up
Okay,
earlier.
that's a lot of money. Yeah. But
I looked this up earlier for you because you asked me, and a Super Bowl, a 30-second Super Bowl commercial now is $6,500,000.
That's it?
Yeah,
$6 million for 30 seconds?
Maybe 2.
Do you know how many $185,000 it takes to make $6 million?
I mean, no, I didn't work that specific number out.
I actually don't.
a dollar in 1979 would equate to, what did I work it out to? $4.90 something cents today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but that's still
crazy.
That's nuts. Yeah.
Speaking of sports, this brand new thing started called ESPN. And everybody was like, yeah, really? Are there that many people watching sports?
Turns out.
No.
Yeah.
Turns out now there's ESPN 1, ESPN 2.
So many ESPNs.
Just a million ESPNs. And Nickelodeon started the first McDonald's Happy Meal.
Oh, man.
In 1979.
Did they start out with toys? I don't know. Anyways.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, they did start out with toys.
Okay.
And somebody got a brilliant idea of putting children's faces that were missing on a milk carton in 1979.
Okay. This is an aside, but has that ever proven successful? Has that ever worked? Has a child been found from a milk carton?
Yes.
Well,
100%.
Has a child ever seen their own face on a milk carton?
The first missing child to have their picture on a milk carton was 1979. And the murderer was caught in 2012.
Oh, that aged well.
Did it?
That's awful.
We are moving on to something lighter.
Okay. Hey.
All right. TV shows. What do you think they were watching on TV? What sitcoms were there?
Mork and Mindy.
No, but that was probably in the 70s.
I thought that was in the 80s.
Nanu.
No, but it was MASH. Kind of along those lines. The Jeffersons. Dukes of Hazzard. Yep. You were,
Okay.
You were right on that at the beginning. So one day at a time.
Okay, sweet.
I don't know.
What's one day at a time?
I know. See, all I think about if it's before my time period, all I think is polyester and Jell-O molds. For some reason, if it's before I arrived on the scene, those things come to mind.
Well, that is very 70s.
Yeah.
Both of those.
Yeah.
Because everybody was listening to the Bee Gees. On the top 10, they'd have 3 or 4 songs every week because that's how often we looked at the top 10.
Yeah.
And they wore matching polyester leisure suits. That was their thing.
So I watch stupid things on YouTube, and one of them is it's not the stupidest thing I watch, but there's a channel on YouTube called The Professor of Rock. And recently he did an episode on the Bee Gees, and I learned so much about the Bee Gees. They were powerhouses. Insane. And they ended up with a top 10 hit in 3 consecutive decades. That's nuts.
That is
They were
nuts.
so popular.
That's kind of crazy.
They had like 4 top 10 hits in like
I mean,
1979 alone.
that's
that I
putting
saw
up
on
with
the
a
list.
lot of falsetto.
It's
How did
crazy.
y'all survive?
I know. Well, it made Donna Summer look good.
Yes, I was thinking that.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. All right. So there it is. There's the scene of 1979.
Who was president?
Oh, Carter?
Clinton.
What? No.
No, Carter.
Definitely
You're right.
not Clinton.
Sorry. It started with a C. I just got mixed up. But you're right. It was President
man.
Carter.
Okay, so how about we go ahead and dive into this Trailer Life magazine. Now, Trailer Life, you can't actually find them on the shelves anymore. It's turned into RV Magazine, which you can find today. But
it doesn't smell nearly as good as this one.
No, this thing,
Let me tell you.
This one smells. I don't know if
I've
it's
sniffed
good.
them all.
if
But
you
it
smell each
definitely
page
smells.
of this, you will take a magic carpet ride through yesteryear.
Through Grandma's attic.
I'm telling you. And you can tell that it was in a house with non-filtered cigarettes. So anyway.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't smell like it at all.
So let me just I'll hold it up. I'll try again to the camera. If you're watching on YouTube, here it is. And it is blurry, so you can't read it. Never mind. Don't try that again.
Sorry. Here, try it one more time. Does that work?
It doesn't. Oh, you know what? It's my fault. I locked the focus. Okay. It's all me.
That was fun.
That's on me.
I know. It's a great try.
Okay. So on the front, it says the top headlines, if you will. Texas RV Mecca, a 16-page section. Man, that's...
Wow.
Are we
No
still
wonder they
in
held
RV
on to
Mecca?
that one. Yes.
Yes.
We are.
okay.
We were number 1 in travel trailer sales
Probably
last year.
because of this magazine right here.
Yeah,
this issue.
1979
This issue.
jump-started us.
Okay, so the next one is the annual roundup 1980 tow cars and trucks. Obviously, this is from December 1979, but the 1980s were out. So
We're
they
just
were
coming out,
looking
yes.
at the tow vehicles. Maybe that'll be interesting. Airstream's new Caravel.
Yes. Did you notice that they spelled it wrong?
No, because I don't know how to spell Caravel.
Yeah. Well, I know it. Yeah.
Caravelli?
I know Airstream Caravel is Caravel.
Yes.
And this is Caraveelle.
So like it's a Chevelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Okay.
maybe it was
Like,
right. And then
oops.
they changed it.
Maybe
No, don't
they're
think so.
like maybe Chevy or whoever. No, Airstream got a hold of this magazine. Like, I don't like the way it looks in print. Let's change
maybe.
it. Let's drop an LE.
Maybe the copy editor screwed up.
Okay, that happens. And then the last headline is first look 9 light trailers, which is our neck of the woods, if you will. And then at the
Yeah.
bottom, RV holiday gift guide.
Yes.
So maybe we'll look at some of the things that stick out to us there. So let's see. Before we jump in, I had just even before we go to I'm going to flip pages. You can hear me flipping pages.
Careful.
I know. Remember magazines? People flipped pages.
This is good radio here.
So cool. Yeah.
Okay, so this stuck out to me just from a time period standpoint. While I was flipping through this, I ran across this area, and it's the TL Newswire. It's the Trailer Life Newswire. And I just picked up on that there's a paragraph in here that still rings very true to the way we think today, or our problems and how we're starting to deal with them. Because they were coming through a gas crisis, a fuel crisis then. And so they're talking about how it affected the industry. And then GM announced a successful development of zinc nickel oxide battery, which will permit production of more efficient electric-powered cars by 1985.
Were there electric cars in 1985?
There were electric cars in like 1900.
Really?
Yes, but obviously it was not a tenable thing to sell to the masses. However, doesn't that ring true today? We're still searching for a better battery. And we're still chasing mass
energy
adoption
efficient cars.
Yes.
Yeah.
So more energy efficient cars and more energy dense batteries. We're still on the hunt. Same story.
Right.
40 plus years later.
Right.
And then,
there were a handful of electric cars that came out.
They were the nerdiest.
Nobody
of
bought
owners.
them. Yes, they were. They were the weirdest people who bought these because they look like a cross between a golf cart.
They look like my father.
And was he nerdy? And those little kiddie cars, that are kind of yellow and orange, that are kind of bubble like.
Little Tykes cars?
Wait,
Little Tykes
were they
kind
the
of
cars
cars,
that had
yes.
like the one door in the front and you opened up the front of the car?
I don't remember.
Steve Urkel had
exactly.
Did they make that noise,
But they drove like a golf cart and you couldn't go very far. You could go like
that one.
You could go like 10 miles or something. I mean, it was like around the corner and back.
Yeah.
So it was crazy.
Yeah. There's another part in here that kind of along the same thing. Right here. He says, hydrogen as an alternative energy source is being promoted by such enthusiasts as Lawrence William, member of the whatever. Hydrogen. That's another thing. Toyota is pursuing a hydrogen engine right now. They linked up because they haven't put all their eggs in the electric only basket. So same issue, same solution still being pursued.
Hydrogen? Like hydrogen?
Yeah, like it'll make an earth-shattering kaboom.
How do you get hydrogen?
Oh, it's all around us.
Well, I know that.
But you extrapolate it from water or
so like how would you I guess here, let me explain this better. How do you put hydrogen in your car?
Liquid hydrogen.
Oh,
I think.
Yeah, you
I don't know.
This is why I'm asking.
I don't know.
If you cool it down enough, it's liquid. But maybe there's just a different transfer protocol.
Maybe everybody's quit listening by now.
Okay. All right. So you had flagged in here, PJ.
Because I don't know.
PJ, you had flagged in here a dual fuel Midas has it now. So Midas dual fuel system, which operates on regular gasoline and liquid liquid propane LP, is the answer to energy shortages. It enables you to travel anywhere without fear of gas shortages or spending hours in long lines, which was the thing that was
was what everyone had to do is get in the gas line.
So I was talking about this with you, and this is in the era of carbureted vehicles. I don't think it's as easy to do a dual fuel gas and liquid propane with fuel injection.
And this was a big old motorhome that ran on propane.
Yeah.
So I guess propane, was it cheaper back then than it is now? Is my question. Propane must have been a cheaper fuel.
Yeah, maybe.
Because why would you want something that ran on gas and propane?
Or maybe because there wasn't a shortage of propane. Maybe that's just it. Maybe it was cheaper at the time just because there wasn't a shortage. Mm-hmm. Maybe. And here further down, they're chasing down stories about diesel oil flowing from Brazilian trees were investigated last summer by Melvin Calvin, University of California chemist. So and it goes on, but biodiesel. That's still a major topic. In fact, in Europe, there's a lot of biodiesel being used, and in South America.
I was struck in this magazine how many places they were talking about alternative fuels.
Yeah.
It is throughout this. And, they even talk about, there is one article where they talk about, gas is $1 a gallon. And it had not ever been that. And they're all talking about inflation. Things are so high. You should go RVing and save some money. You should get away from the rat race and escape your television.
This is stuff that we talk today. Same talking lines.
Relax under the trees.
Yeah.
It was crazy to read.
Now, when you say $1 a gallon, I'm thinking when I started driving in the 90s, in the late 90s, my fuel was less than $1 a gallon. So in 1979, that had to be big money.
Well, you know, a Super Bowl commercial was what, 185,000?
But there was probably like half the amount of people driving.
Yeah, because the rest of them were waiting in line for gas.
And also not born yet. What is that noise?
I don't know, but it's magical. What articles do we want to... We don't have time to read this to everybody. They're going to have to find it for themselves.
We can't tell everybody to lean back, put their feet up. We'll read it cover to cover. You know, that's what people did in 1979. They read it cover to cover.
Absolutely.
And then they saved it for future reference.
Which is how it ended up in my hands.
People saved magazines, but my husband collected phone books.
Why?
I don't know.
Because what if you have to start a fire in an emergency situation, Clint?
Okay, fair enough. I'm getting phone books. Fair enough.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Because his wife is super short, so he might have stuff for her to sit on.
Oh, good. Okay, so my 4 ideas here to pick out some things to look at from this were the holiday gift guide, the Tour Texas on $5 a day.
Tour Texas on $5?
Yeah, the brand new Airstream Caravelle, spelled wrong. And the tow guide, the tow roundup. So how about I jump into just look at what they had as their gift guide? Page 20.
So what would be great to put on a gift guide today?
Jello mold.
No, that would be back then.
That tiny little camp stove where you light a fire to cook your food, but then the fire also charges your phone.
Oh, okay. That is
very
cool.
2023 camping.
Some nice little power pack that we have now. All kinds of power packs that you can carry that you just plug into.
Sure. Solar anything, wind powered anything, water filters, on-demand water heaters. Sure.
Yeah.
Max Air fan.
Yeah.
Cover.
Okay. All right. So here, just quickly, I mean, I like that the first suggestion is a little motorcycle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a little cute little motorcycle. It's a little Suzuki. It's a Playbike 125, and it only costs brand new $959.
And you could hook it on the back of your RV. People did that all the time.
Yeah.
Because back then it was either a big trailer or a motorhome. That was really kind of, and it was mostly retirement folks.
Yeah.
Or semi-retired.
You know, what's funny is that in the same vein, Honda just released a little 125 motorcycle this past year. And it goes for MSRP less than the $3,000.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty close. Okay, what's the next thing?
All right, so they have like Coleman lanterns on here. The old, the type that took the little globes. What's it called?
The little mantles?
Yeah, that's it. That's the word. And then they had CB radios. Man, that's like Smokey and the Bandit all over the place.
CB radio?
Yeah.
That was a thing.
And then catalytic heaters.
Well,
I mean,
that's something that's still sold today. Of course, a catalytic heater.
Here, blow up boats. I'm just going to go through this quickly.
Ooh, I like this one. Fluorescent lights.
Yeah.
That was an upgrade.
Oh, it's such good quality light. and imagine a fluorescent light going up and down the road with all the vibrations and all that. Couldn't have lasted that long. I wouldn't think.
Maybe the roads were better back then.
Okay. Ooh, we're going to have to hit on some of the way that some of these trailers look and the decorations. You know what?
I like the ads better in 1979 than I do now.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think maybe it's just like the level of obnoxious is like turned down a lot in 1979. It hasn't quite been dialed up yet.
Wait. You're looking at this interior. It's all brown.
It is not obnoxious, but the ad is not obnoxious. The ad is like adorable. And they make ads look like articles.
Oh, yes. 2-page spread on a Ford Travel that is literally all brown on the inside. And the sofa and the seats have this nice little 1970s swirl pattern all over them.
But look at that. There's windows around the entire thing.
Yeah, that sofa makes me want to itch.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I completely agree. I love the shag carpet.
I want that thing. That
brown
awesome.
shag carpet.
It just looks like it stinks.
Motorhomes of distinction.
Yes, stink.
And do you know what the headline is?
Stink.
Dreams come true in a 4Travel.
But I will admit, you're right. That's a lot of windows going around that.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
All right. So, you know what, Lindsay? What if I pass this to you on page 79? And
I don't
you
need
tell
it.
me a thing.
So this article is called Tour Texas on $5 a day. And much like today,
believe it.
articles in yesteryear are complete bull honky.
What?
There's nothing in this article about touring Texas on $5 a day.
Really?
No.
Nothing.
First of all, they're just... Okay.
When gas is $1.
They don't mention anything about gas and food or anything. This is just places you can go around Texas where admission is free or $5 or less, which...
Well, that's deceptive trade practice. We should sue Trailer Life. Because if you're going to tour Texas on $5 a day, you kind of have to eat and you kind of have to get between one place and another.
But
right?
This, I mean, it starts saying you need to go to LBJ country, which I know, PJ, is one of your favorite places.
Oh, that's
yes.
Johnson City, Fredericksburg.
Right around the corner.
Yeah.
But like actual, like the LBJ, like place. What is it? It's like a whole...
His ranch.
His ranch, which is now a national, not a
which
park,
he
but a
didn't even
national
own when he died.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just read the article. I must have read it wrong.
Yeah, but they've already had one misprint right on the front.
We don't trust
Caravel
Trailer
correctly.
Life.
Yeah.
He didn't own it when he died?
No.
Well, then how is his desk and all that stuff there?
Well, it said that he...
Was he leasing it?
No, he bought it, but then he had to sell it to pay for campaign fees. And when he died, he was still attempting to buy it back. So... I mean, I don't know if it was like donated or
I never knew.
what, but
I seem to remember so many photos and all that of him like doing presidential things while down there.
Maybe it was talking about another place. I don't know. Anyway.
And maybe he was leasing it. Maybe he didn't own it, but he still had access. Who knows?
They talk about O. Henry's house. They said, you should go see O. Henry's house in Austin, Texas, which I think is awesome because I heart O. Henry. And I heart his little house in the middle of downtown next to all of the flashing signs and trash
buildings,
streets. And there's just like this cute little house.
Is O. Henry still there?
No, O. Henry's super dead. Also, I had a guinea pig named O. Henry. And he's also dead. He was named after the writer, not the candy bar.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
You know, I've been here a long time. I've never been there.
Really?
Never been there.
There's nothing there. I mean, like...
I even mentioned it
There's nothing there. You
last
can't
summer.
be there.
I was like, we need to go places we haven't been. I've never been to O. Henry's house.
Well, and that's the thing about this article is most of these places like still exist. And I'm just wondering if they were just as boring back then as they are
Yeah,
now.
I've heard there's not much there. So
but that's
I mean,
just it.
but still.
Boring things were great entertainment back then.
See, I'm not knocking it. Like I like living
We're
at these
so
places too.
overstimulated now
I know.
that quality things aren't quality anymore.
But I'm just saying, I'm not sure if traveling out of your way to go to a 800 square foot house in the middle of downtown is really worth saving your admission fee going somewhere else.
Dear listeners,
Yeah.
if this is your thing, please,
I mean,
by all means.
if you love O. Henry, please go.
If gas has gone up to $1 a gallon, you might want to reconsider.
They suggest from Austin, you visit, the Capitol, the governor's mansion,
All right there.
O. Henry's house. And then they suggest you head on down to Houston, which I meant to look up and I didn't. They state is the largest city in Texas.
Not
is
anymore.
I didn't think so.
No, still large. Yes, still quite big. But they do have the world's largest interstate. And it's like 12 or
Awful.
13 lanes.
Still crowded.
Yeah.
They say go to Houston. You have to check out the not brand new, but the world's first air-conditioned domed stadium, the Astrodome, and you can take a tour for $250 a day. So as long as you don't have more than 2 people in your family, you can do it for less than $5 a day.
That's amazing. And I am at least old enough to have memories of watching baseball games in the Astrodome.
Yes.
And that's actually a cool memory to have because nothing goes on there anymore. The building's still standing, but nothing's happening with it.
I remember reading a statistic, and I don't remember what it was. I just remember it was surprising that the Astrodome really was only used for games for like 25 years or something.
Yeah, my childhood.
I mean, it wasn't very long before it moved on to something else.
Well,
but I remember it. I was in the very early games of I got to go and still have the program because it was such a spectacular thing.
It was kind of, as this says, the first of its kind. But once it kind of broke the mold,
I know.
So
then they went up everywhere,
all over the place. They popped up and they were more spectacular.
But can you imagine 1979 and you are literally watching a sports game inside?
And when I was going, I was taking a nap in the seat.
Yeah, probably.
I was just a little kid and baseball moved too slow.
Where do you go from there, Lindsay?
Thank you.
Oh,
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Lindsay's here.
Jeez. Okay, so the next thing, stop looking.
I can't read it. It's too far away. I don't have my glasses on.
I know. I'm a little upset about that too because I put on my fake glasses so that we could all match tortoiseshell glasses, but then you took yours off, so. Anyway.
PJ, could you do this for the rest of the
Where else
episode?
do you go in Houston? Where else? Where else in 1979 would you go for less than $5 a day to visit someplace in Houston? You would go to NASA.
Yeah.
Because you can
NASA
tour.
was a big thing.
In 1979, you can tour NASA for free.
You're kidding.
For free. It's free. Free admission. And you get to see samples of a moon rock and actual spacecraft hardware. I mean,
you can still see those things.
Wow.
I know, right? Like probably a
whole
more.
lot of money.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a friend that works there, and we can just go see it for free.
They tell you to go to Galveston, drive down the coast because that's free. Then they tell you to go to San Antonio, which I'm not sure where they're getting their map.
This is not a
I'm
line.
not sure this is where.
This is a triangle.
San Antonio, go check out the missions.
Yes, that's still.
That is very cool.
That's
Still a
good.
cool thing.
Yeah.
San Antonio's 2 breweries welcome tourists with free beer and soft
That's
drinks.
not quite the case anymore, but they're still there, I think. Which one's Lone
You
Star?
can check out Pearl Brewery's Jersey Lily Hospitality Center.
What?
Features collections of rare beer steins and Spanish saddles. 2 things that just scream Texas.
Oh, that's a well-crafted sentence.
In downtown San Antonio, a stroll along the Paseo del Rio.
Oh, I think that
Paseo del Rio.
Oh, see?
means
This-
Riverwalk.
Yes. The River
The
Walk.
River Street.
Yeah.
And Pearl Brewery is still there, but it is now a very upscale place full of all these unique shops. And it's kind of on the pricier end to go there and go to the poor. I don't remember what they call it, but it's the Pearl Brewery and all the little things they built around is a very hot spot.
Did
right
that
now.
become El Mercado?
No.
No? Okay, it's not that.
No, it looks like the Chip and Joanna Gaines place.
Okay.
It looks like Magnolia. It's like a little city, like with buildings and gift
Yeah.
shops, and then like a big thing of AstroTurf where kids run around.
I don't like to pay money to feel out of place.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Well, back then, it literally was a brewery.
Yeah.
It was just a brewery on the side of the highway.
In San Antonio, you can visit one of the top 10 zoos in the U.S. Admission was $1.50 for adults and 50 cents for children.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I must admit, I grew up going to the San Antonio Zoo a number of times, and I have good memories there. It is a good zoo. Now, I did hear whenever we brought this up together in the room, are you sure it's one of the best ones? I still think it's a really fantastic zoo, but Texas summer is not really the time to go because
It's
the
too hot
animals
for the
be
animals
sleeping.
and for you.
yeah, the animals don't come out. They don't move.
Yeah.
So pick your time, and I think it's still a fantastic zoo if you do it right.
Then they tell you to go to Dallas, check out some rodeos. Like, okay. And then go to east of Dallas Fort Worth and go to Tyler and go to the Tyler Rose Garden, where there is more than 38,000 rose bushes in 1979. You go today.
How many?
30,000. They lost 8,000 rose bushes.
Oh no.
What happened?
So, I mean, and
Tornado.
And the very last thing I think was really interesting in this article, it says some of the state parks are free, while at 49, there's an entrance fee of $2 per car per day. For regular visitors, there's a $15 pass, which covers admission to state parks for 1 year.
Yeah.
So a 1 year state parks pass was $15.
What is it now? 30 something? I think it's 30 something.
That's it?
Is it 80?
No,
89.
yeah, it's
like $80 or $90.
Yeah, I don't
which
remember.
still I feel like is a
That's
great deal.
Still reasonable.
If you simply go a few times, absolutely.
But if you're comparing to like going to the zoo, if you can go to the zoo for $5 and take your whole family, a family of 4 for $5, going to the zoo now probably is going to cost you $100 just to get in. I mean, it's ridiculous for events like that.
And do they have, what do they call those?
I don't know exactly,
group buy
but
things where you get in on a deal if everyone buys it. What do they call that?
Yeah. I don't know.
a timeshare.
Like a group, like a timeshare?
But no, I mean, it's
Timeshare the zoo.
it feels like I realize that everything has gotten more expensive and we make more money and all of that. But even with inflation, it just feels like a big chunk out of your monthly budget to have a weekend outing. And then you have to eat something and it's going to cost you a fortune.
Absolutely.
It just feels like a much bigger chunk to spend the day at the zoo than it did back then.
All right, whose article is next?
I think PJ, how about you bring us up to speed on this brand new Airstream Caravelle?
What page is it on?
It is on page 30.
Everybody knows about Airstream. They know what they've built, what they've done over the years. They started in the 50s.
I mean, at this point, the Caravelle is kind of iconic in its own right. And this is the magazine saying it's brand new.
So what I found that was so interesting was their perspective. So I marked a few things.
Wow, that's a lot of marks.
Yeah.
I know,
Well done,
because
PJ.
Somebody prepared.
So a lot of people thought that the Airstream trailers were too expensive, with too much luxury and not enough livability.
Too much luxury.
Too much luxury.
I can't take it.
Which, it's good for full-time RVers with a lot of money, but not appropriate for weekend camping families. So
they were trying to reach down into the, what do they call the lower class?
Low lives?
Yeah.
The normal
the normies.
humans.
The normies.
Okay, so the disagreements over the worth of Airstream trailers seem destined to go on endlessly.
And they still do.
Yeah, I was about to say.
This is very prescient. That's right.
So Bob Devine decided to be president, or he got to be president, and he decided he was going to change things up. So for the first time, there are Airstreams that can be regarded as family trailers.
Airstreams for the masses.
And for the first time, Airstream is building a series of small, compact trailers with shiny aluminum exteriors. And it's lowered the base price and made many of its features optional, so you don't have to pay for all the luxury if you don't want to.
Okay.
So
you could probably spec it out up to the luxury and...
Yes, you could dumb it down. And I mean, isn't that what a lot of manufacturers are doing literally right now?
Yeah, I think so.
We are seeing trailers that are saying, oh, this is our special edition. And it doesn't have all of these extra things in them. So it's a little cheaper because people are looking for economy. Right.
And they do that in the automotive industry too. I mean, I can spec out a Ford XLT all the way up to where it has all the equipment of a King Ranch edition.
Sure. So this says the new models are part of Airstream's dramatic repositioning in the marketplace, which is the result of a conviction that the company should deal directly with today's energy problems. At the same time, broaden its appeal to include trailering families.
Same thing today. Trailer and RV manufacturers, they do actually pay attention to the pains, to a degree, to the pains of the masses.
Well, isn't that what we're doing now? Is everybody says, well, we need to downsize and everybody needs or wants smaller cars.
More efficient cars, smaller footprint in every way. Yeah.
He emphasizes Detroit has downsized his cars now, and we think the energy shortages and high gasoline prices will be with us forever. So we felt it was time for us to emphasize Airstream's advantages, lightweight, aerodynamic shape, better gas mileage to a broader group of people.
Normies.
Not a bad,
especially families with 3 or 4 children.
And so under his watch, because he was kind of new with the company at the time, I think, under his watch, this launched. And like I said, this in and of itself is an iconic line, even to this day. So good play.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. So, okay, let's see.
Oh, she found her glasses.
Yes.
We're all tortoiseshell glassesing.
A 24-foot Caravelle has a retail price range between $12,600 and $14,600. Sleeping capacities vary from 2 to 7 persons, depending on the floor plan, with special bunk options. 24-footers can have unique bolster bunks with special canvas bunk options.
And if you could find like a barn find, one of these, it's been in a barn somewhere.
Somebody paid $12,000 for.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, and I love this. Options include the entertainment center with an AM/FM 8-track sound system, a 10,000 BTU roof air conditioner with a heat strip, window shades were optional, magazine rack was optional, entrance light was optional, and a systems monitor was optional.
Oh, so without a systems monitor, you just waited till something overflowed. That's when you knew it was full.
Honestly, that sounds like Lance, like 3 years ago. They had an optional magazine rack. They had an optional,
because they were formed way back when you make everything optional. And the idea was that then everybody could kind of build their own. But the reality is people want that stuff.
Right.
But they were trying to build a more affordable middle of the road camper, and it was 20 to 24 feet and built for families.
Right.
And now the Caravelle is still family oriented, but nothing sleeps over 4. They are all just variations of mid-size trailers that are, I think, 16 to 22 feet now. And they all have a dinette that makes a bed and a bed.
Still a stonking good deal in trailer.
None of this bunk stuff.
I know they're expensive, but I mean, it's hands down still a quality trailer.
Yes. And then the article right after that is
bring that up.
The lightweights have arrived.
I have never heard of an Escort, but that thing looks like a Intech.
It does.
With the big front window.
It is slanted. So super cool. Yes. And the ultra lightweight on the Escort is 1,300 and 16-foot trailer, and it's the heaviest of the lightweights, and it's 1,800 pounds.
Wow. And it looks like it's fiberglass from the photo. But look what they're towing it with.
So, yes. The lightweights were 1,800 pounds or less. Some of them were 1,200 pounds to 1,800 pounds. And, some of them are aluminum framed. Some of them are wood framed, which is stapled on aluminum. But the cabinets didn't have drawers. There was just a few cabinets, a few lightweight appliances, and a piece of plywood with a mattress on it. I mean, that was it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how uninsulated these were?
I mean, it'd be a toaster in the Texas sun.
I think it's funny that these are all different campers. They all look exactly the same.
They do. They're all different brands, and they all look the same.
They all have a double stripe in the same spot, and the outside looks exactly the same.
Yes.
So, that one photo brings up people towed differently with different things back then. They were fine with putting a hitch on anything, it seemed like. And I remember when we watched the long trailer with Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, that I thought that is so crazy insane that they would tow that trailer with a car. And yet that was pretty typical up into the 80s and 90s. It looks so inappropriate, but why was it so normal for what we would consider now inappropriate vehicles to tow? I mean,
were cars built differently?
Cars towed back then. Cars had a towing capacity.
But what made it different?
Why?
What changed?
Okay. Well, I mean, I think the ratio of trailer to towing vehicle changed because in this lightweight trailer article, it says the stripped version of the 16-footer has as standard equipment a 3-burner range, an ice box, manual water system. That's a pump.
Nice.
That is a hand pump, a single stainless steel sink, 20-pound LP tank, and that was it. I mean, in the 60s, we had a camper van and it was a hand pump and seats that laid down for sleeping. That was pretty much what it was.
And it's so super easy to work on if you needed to.
These are different. And then it said the deluxe version had a 12,000 BTU furnace, a 4 cubic foot 2-way refrigerator, a 6-gallon water heater, a marine toilet, 2 holding tanks, a demand water system, 30-gallon water tank, shower head, city water hookup, a converter, a front window shield and an awning, and a double 20-pound LP tank. And it retailed for $1,500 more. So that's how they did it back then. That's how they made a lightweight trailer. There was nothing in it.
Sure.
It was a box with a hand pump. That was it. Didn't even have a water tank.
And I bet you can still find them out there.
So
on a deer ranch.
Unfortunately, now we don't even consider that a trailer. You know?
No. You might as well get a utility trailer and put a jug in there.
So, there you go. That's how they did it back then. But the thing that struck me the most when looking at this is the vehicles that are towing all these trailers. They are almost all cars. Almost all cars.
Blows my mind. Yeah.
I mean, we see a car pull up now. We're like,
no, you can't. Yeah.
What are you thinking you're going to tow?
I'm wondering if that's an industry standard change, if it's anything to do with law changes.
Well,
or maybe there's so many lawsuits in the courts that made, I don't know.
I think maybe the mountains weren't as high, so people could tow with a car.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Back
40 years ago,
in the day.
mountains
You know
were
what?
much shorter.
I don't think physics was mature back then. so
Trailer sway was not a thing.
You could get away with more.
You guys are so funny.
Yeah, there was more gravity, so the trailer didn't sway.
Less wind, except for when it's windy.
But they also had something in here about the 1980 tow vehicle.
Here it is.
Roundup.
Look at that Chevy Suburban. It is so cute.
There's not very many trucks in here.
No. I'm looking.
Saying.
This one page does have a Chevy Suburban, but the other vehicles on this page of these 4, there's what do they call that? Station wagon, another station wagon, and a coupe.
A Ford XR7.
I kind of want to find one of those.
Okay, so this says, I don't know. I'm not on the same page. I tried to start at the beginning, but I've lost my place on these because here's the thing, right? They have this entire article talking about tow vehicles.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you would have in that if you were doing that article today?
Oh, definitely the capacities, the weights.
Yeah, the towing capacity, right?
Uh-huh.
They don't talk much about towing capacities.
Oh,
they talk about how big the engine is.
How big the engine and maybe the transmission, possibly?
It's just, it's so crazy. So it was really hard for me to compare these.
Reading this, this is under maybe the Colony Park. They're talking about towing with a Cougar in here and a Lincoln Continental. So anyways,
yes.
It says towing would be performed with the usual first, second, and third gears. More detailed information on the transmission, blah, blah, blah. So you just put it, if you had 3 on the tree or whatever, you put it in first or second, and you just let that engine just go way up in the RPMs and you just go.
Yeah, because the chart that they do have in here is engine sizes in metrics. So they've got the cubic inches and the liters. And so you know which engine to buy, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're talking about Chevy and GMC trucks, and they say they don't even give fuel efficiency in here on these vehicles at all. I mean, it was not a thing. You didn't talk about it.
You're waiting in gas lines, but we don't have the term fuel efficient yet.
It just, there's miles per gallon is not a thing. So they say that the Blazer C models were rated for 5,500. Now, the four-wheel drive was downrated to 4,000 this year, and the Suburban C10 is downrated to 6,000. But the C20, whatever that is, will tow 9,500 pounds.
Okay, so I think the C10 is a half-ton chassis, and the C20 was the one-ton chassis.
And then the K10 is 5,000 pounds towing capacity. Can you imagine trying to figure out what you could tow? Yeah. Did they even try to do that back then?
Look at this. They're talking about towing with the Plymouth Grand Fury. And that had a 5.9-liter V8. Oh, that's a big motor. Granted, it's a heavy car.
And it can tow 6,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's a big sedan.
Yeah, it's one of those land kind of yacht sort of things. You kind of go, whenever you go over bumps, it does. Oh, look at the really cool old Jeep Wrangler. Jeep Wagoneer Limited. That's cool looking.
All these cars look cool.
How about a Thunderbird town car? The town Landau?
Yeah.
I mean, they've got that in here as a good tow vehicle. What did they call this? Lightweight tow vehicles?
Yeah, this is a bunch of tow vehicles, but they are almost all cars.
Pontiac Bonneville.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there is a Ford F-350 with dual wheels. They spell it out. And it has a payload that ranges up to 5,400 pounds.
That's just not what you would expect at all.
But that's a payload, not a towing.
Okay.
They don't give a towing. Yeah. I can't find the towing in this article.
They just expected if you wanted to tow, you towed. Right?
Yeah.
But everybody...
There's no numbers to match here. You just buy a vehicle and buy a camper.
So I heard recently...
It's just so odd.
I heard recently that, if you are like a licensed... you drive for work, you drive for business, you're under that class of driver, whatever, that class C license or whatever that is, that you have to really, really adhere to towing capacities. But if you're just an everyday Joe or Sally in the public, that yes, that's what it's rated for, but there's no law that requires you to stay below that. Now, if something happens, insurance is not going to be your friend, and you can be taken to court. That's not your friend. But there's no law that specifically says that I can't be overburdened by a trailer.
Yes, that's correct.
Which is
my understanding is
crazy. I mean, it is a hazard to everyone else.
It is a hazard. Yeah. It is a hazard, but.
You can, and that's a misconception in truck campers as well, that you can't put on more than your payload. You won't get arrested.
Yeah.
For that. You might ruin your vehicle. You might be unsafe.
Yeah.
But you won't get arrested. If you kill somebody, you'll get sued.
There'll be a court issue and there'll be an insurance issue.
Yeah.
At that point. But unless that happens, nobody's going to cause you any problems except for in the forums when you tell them what you're doing.
Inside the U.S., that's the case. So, it's very odd. But, I mean, when I look at the new tow vehicles, and really about 75% of them are cars, it's crazy.
Okay, so one last thing I wanted to do with this episode is there was a fun they have a section in here, and it's called the RV Action Line. And this is a
RV
space
Action
where
Line.
in the magazine, I guess on the regular, they would have people contact them and they would complain about, I don't know, the dealership.
About the things people complain about.
Yeah. And then the editors of Trailer Life would kind of try to track down a solution for their problem or give them direction or guidance. Well, in this episode, they said we're going to do a little bit different because we get complaints both ways.
Okay.
And so there was a story in here that I thought Lindsay should read to us. A little finish it up with a little story time. It's on page 13, I believe, starting here.
Okay. I have not read this yet, so this will be fun.
Story time with Lindsay.
Consumer Help RV Action Line, adding injury to insult. A recent letter from a Washington couple who we will call Mr. and Mrs. Jones appeared to be yet one more instance of RV buyers being trapped in a pre-sale deposit scam. The Joneses explained they had visited a local dealer with the intention of buying a Class A motorhome. When they thought they had found the ideal unit, they signed a purchase agreement and gave the dealer a deposit of $108. That's an interesting number. 4 days before they were scheduled to take delivery of the new rig, however, they decided they didn't want it after all, and they called the dealer and canceled the purchase agreement. At the time of cancellation, they also asked the sales manager to refund their deposit. He promised to check into the refund and get back with them with an answer. A few days later, they received a letter from the dealer informing him the refund was refused, but the money would be applied on any future purchase at the dealership. Not satisfied, they visited the dealership, requested the refund in person, and were again refused. That's when they contacted Action Line. As soon as we got the complaint, we were ready to go to bat for the Joneses.
You know it.
And we immediately asked the dealer for an explanation. All right, here is the explanation from the dealer.
Ooh, this sounds like it's going to be incriminating.
This isn't a made-up story, right? This is
this is a real deal.
All right. Mr. and Miss Jones were in our office a few weeks ago, purchased a motorhome, and left us a $108 deposit. At that time, they told us to have the unit ready on a certain date as they would be here to pick it up. Accordingly, we had the pre-delivery prep done on the unit at a cost to us of $100. 4 days before they were to come in, however, the Joneses called, told us they had changed their minds and didn't want the unit. The motorhome was ready as requested. The motorhome was off the market for approximately 10 days, and at our flooring rates of 13.75% per day for 10 days, this unit costs us $5.73 per day, or $57.30, plus $100 for the prep order, totaling $157.30. The $108 they gave us does not even cover our costs.
Does it go on?
Something which was not brought up in their letter to us is that Mr. Jones backed...
Here it is.
And here it
backed
comes.
his pickup and camper into 3 of our campers, incurring damages of approximately $1,500. This was covered by insurance, but it has been over 50 days, and we haven't as yet received a check from his insurance company. These units are off the market and costing us approximately $6 per day, which will not be reimbursed. I will not go into detail about the reputation of this company, but we think it is the best in this area. I feel it was a very gracious of our company to apply the deposit to a future motorhome purchase in the view and still do. RV dealer. It doesn't say love, but yeah, I felt like I was
Sincerely,
reading it from this.
RV dealer.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. First of all,
there were Karens back then too.
Doesn't this sound like our Google reviews?
It does.
Yes.
This is crazy. Okay, so
where they have all the power to not give all the information. This happens in Google reviews, and on Yelp, and in the comment sections of anything we post. All the time. And it's like you have all this power as a consumer to not provide actually all the details. And we look bad if we try to defend ourselves. This is well done.
We need an RV action line.
Right? I think this is insane, though, that they're like, the dealership actually like breaks down the flooring cost per day. Mm-hmm. I mean, I get the point here, but
remember, things moved slower back then, so they had the time to do it.
They're mad because they don't get their $108 back.
Well,
$108 was a big sum of money back then.
Yes.
But it's not fair to completely discount the trouble, the time, the cost, the damages. That's not fair.
But we do it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Because people put in here, we take a $500 deposit. Mm-hmm. And very often people will even special order something. Mm-hmm. And
special orders are hard.
Yes. And 3 months later, their situation has changed. Mm-hmm. And they say, we don't want it. Well, we have a unit here that we didn't order.
Right.
We ordered it for them.
It's a very unique, it's a weird color.
Sometimes it is really weird.
No graphics, or you leave out the one thing everybody else asks for.
So that's tricky.
Yeah.
That is tricky.
Well, that's pretty
But
funny.
So-
I will say it's
don't know.
rare that any of our customers back into 3 of our other units in the process of leaving our dealership.
Well, maybe, but we've had it happen in the past 3 months twice.
Oh, okay.
Twice. But they didn't, one of them ran away. We didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
So,
I
but-
ran away too.
Yeah. But I think your point to this was people complain all the time and you don't really know what the backstory is.
Yeah, and then the public court of modern in online forums, you just don't get a fair shake.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
and you know what? It all comes out in the wash. You can still do really good business, even with the public court being out there.
and being an RV dealership, I will also say there are RV dealerships out there that aren't fair. So it's possible. But that is an interesting story. And
Yeah.
it's interesting that they would print all of that
Right. And
rebuttal.
when Lindsay got to the part where, but wait, there's more.
But wait,
Yeah.
they backed
Yeah.
into a whole
That's
bunch
when
of
you,
stuff.
You read ahead just enough to see what I was like,
Yeah.
here it comes.
That's how I read. I read like whatever I'm saying is not what my eyes are seeing. I don't know. It's weird. Is that how normal people read?
I think that's how you're supposed to read. It's
Okay.
hard. Some people can't do that. And they sound very choppy
Yeah.
when they read. But great story.
This was so fun.
I was blown away by how they spent talking about alternative fuels. They started talking about the prices being high at the very beginning in the front.
Yeah.
Where is it? I bet I can't put my hand on it. But one of the guys who does regular commentary was just saying, everything is getting so expensive. We need to find a better way to RV.
There are very real sections of this that you could tweak ever so slightly
And put it in a magazine today.
reprint
Yeah.
today almost word for word because the time seems so similar in some
Yes.
respects.
So is that the lesson in all of this, that like we're forever just going to be complaining about how expensive things are?
And
Maybe.
That's just our nature. Like, oh, things go up. It's too expensive. But apparently it was too expensive like 40 years ago. So
Wouldn't it be pretty weird if things were cheaper now than they used to be? I mean, how does that even work?
right. But why? Like, yeah. It's
only if technology makes it that much, but there has to be a massive leap in some technology, like supercomputers. You can get
super.
You can get a basic smartphone for pretty cheap today. Not a flagship model, but a basic smartphone, and it is more powerful than the computers on the Apollo spacecraft. You know,
Yep.
so there are areas, but I mean, there's some real themes here that are just they will be evergreen themes.
Do you see Camping World offers $5 installation? So in 1979, if you went to a Camping World store, you could buy any part. I read this whole thing. You can buy anything.
An air conditioner.
Camping World will install it on your camper for $5.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Isn't that crazy? I feel like even back then that was real cheap.
And then there's this one that says, my TV reception has really picked up.
Yeah.
Since I picked up my new Camper's Pride antenna.
This advertisement is gold. He's got this collar sticking out of his sweater.
Oh, the big wing collar.
He
Yeah.
looks pissed, and he's just got one hand up here on this
the crank,
crank up
yeah.
antenna, and his other hand he's holding a pipe. And look what's on TV.
Shamu.
Shamu's on TV.
He needs a smoking jacket.
I mean,
That's all I got to say.
This whole ad, he looks not even happy
I
about
know.
any of this.
Well, I think that when he was young, because this is 1970, so when he was young, you weren't allowed to smile for pictures.
That's
because
right.
of the-
That's right.
I'm pretty sure that was the 1800s. I don't know. This was so fun.
Yeah.
I am so glad it is not 1979 anymore. That's all I got to say. Thank you very much.
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no.
Now-
I like that social media back then was the comment section in magazines.
Yeah.
You know what?
Sure.
You know what
Social
wasn't
media
in
was
there?
slower.
There was nothing in there telling you how to make the best casserole. Because everybody lived on casseroles back then.
This is
You
true.
opened cans, poured it into, and how you poured what
That's
in.
still
and you
how I live
cooked
my
it.
life
Yeah.
to this day.
So no recipes in this one.
You have 3 more of these, right, Clint?
I do, and I might be able to get a hold of some more. This has been really fun.
All right. It's fun for us. I hope it was fun for someone else.
If you follow us on social media, that is Facebook, YouTube, or if you subscribe to the podcast, let us know in the comments if you enjoyed this episode. We have 3 more magazines, and we would love to dissect the other 3. If you thought this was as fun as we did.
Yeah, maybe it'll tell us how much this Olds 88 will tow.
I mean, this is a great way to get to know ourselves today by comparing us to what we see from yesteryear.
Right.
We learn both ways.
Also,
this is so cool.
I get to smell it.
Oh, here you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
into
this
the
was
nose, out to
fun.
the mouth.
This was fun. And we are done with the 1979 magazine.
High five.
We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.